Hey YouTube, it is Monday, February the 27th, 11:27 p.m., 65.8 degrees in the shop. Thought we'd get out tonight and try to do a little work. It's been several days since we've been out. We finished off up here trying to get around toward the front end and do a little work and clean up this cowling. And we got started looking for rust, and we've been a little bit lucky so far. We checked around here, but we've got a little area of concern down in here that looks like Bondo. So we're going to start taking some of that off and see what we run into. Hopefully it's not too terribly bad. We'll see. One thing I do want to share with you, company I work for was kind enough to get rid of some 90 grit sand that they weren't going to use. And this is a 400-pound drum of 90 grit. And it is brand new, ready to go. So what we kind of done, we made some tentative plans. Because I've got so much of this car stripped down already the hard way, and we've replaced so many panels, we really weren't going to do much sandblasting on what's left of it. Of course, package tray, deck filler panel, all that's been done. Tail light panel, trunk is done inside and out. Drop-offs are good. We've got this quarter with all the old paint from where we've got epoxy down. The underneath side of the car is completely done and in epoxy. Floor pans are done. We've got that backrest seat area that's still got to be cleaned up good. And then underneath the dash and that firewall area, all that's got to be cleaned up good. And then of course the front end there, which is not really the front end, it's the firewall and the cowling. So what we're thinking about doing is building just building a small, like a 5 or 6 foot by whatever width we need, with some rigid rigs, like a 10-inch pneumatic in the front, and or rigid in the back and swivel in the front, so we can go through these double doors and just go right out the concrete ramp into the yard. And we'll be able to push this thing back into pretty easily. And 400 pounds of sand there, need to be using it. And I've also got a couple of 5-gallon buckets of some glass bead. So that should be plenty. And we talked about the roof skin. We're definitely going to change it out, so we won't need to blast that. But that's the plan. But for tonight, we're going to kind of get in there the hard way and get started trying to figure out if we've got any more panels that need replacing. And like I say, I'm kind of worried about that one. So we'll get started, and when we have some progress, we'll bring you along. All right, guys. Just some quick observations. It looks like this is a new panel. And we can see the plug wells where it went on, and I was right in that was some Bondo, but it is a very light skim coat just to smooth out over these plug wells. I don't know why they use Bondo instead of short strand fiberglass, other than if it wasn't available when this happened, when this panel was replaced. It's obvious looking at this part of the front end of the panel there, that this car has been involved in a fender bender. But the fact that this panel is still here and original to the car tells me that it might not have been too bad as far as getting into the actual body of the car. So we do have the new fender that was on the car. It only had the coat of silver and a coat of primer under that. So we knew that fender had been replaced, and now I think we probably know why. But there again, that's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. I'm happy that this panel right here is new and not rusty and filled with Bondo like most of the other parts on the car. So we're going to keep cleaning this one up. We did go all the way down underneath kind of there and poke around, and we know that that's a good panel. However, this part behind the panel does have some Bondo, and we kind of worried about what we might find there, because this all looks original. But there again, we don't know till we get in there. So we're going to grind it out on around, see what we find. And I'm not going to try to clean it up 100%, because the plan is to try to sandblast all this eventually. Maybe this weekend. We got 3 days coming up. We do have some other things. We got to get some brake shoes put on the old truck. But maybe we can get this cart done at some point and roll it out, and at least try to hit it with some sandblasting material to see how well we can make it work. So when we have more, we'll bring you along. Okay guys, Jeff Lindsay in the garage with you today, Friday, around lunchtime, and I do apologize. The pollen and everything has got me almost where I can't talk, but we'll do the best we can. We want to do this video, get this video finished. And there again, I apologize not being able to talk, but sometimes that's not a bad thing. We talked about sandblasting the car. We got some sand, and we're just going to try to get it outside. I've got a frame that I had built for to hold some vinyl material when I was doing upholstery, and it was just an A-frame rack, but that bottom part is going to be about perfect. I'll do some bracing up on it, but 10-inch pneumatic swivel rigs on one end and rigid on the other, slide it up under the car. We'll be able to roll it right outside and do whatever blasting we need to do to the car. This will be the first of 2 videos probably. We're going to make not a pressure pot, but just a gravity feed that we'll use with the big air compressor. And the first thing we're going to do is modify this old air compressor tank that was, the compressor part was no good. So we're going to start on it today. We're going to modify it, and the first thing we did was cut the top out of it. So we're going to go around and clean that up. We'll flip it over. We'll weld a valve on the bottom, and hopefully with what stuff we've got in the garage, we won't have to go get nothing. Maybe we'll be all right. We're going to clean up the inside of that tank. We'll put us a handle on it so we can roll it around easily. But there again, that's where we're at today, Friday. We got the top cut off for an old 30-gallon tank. So when we have more progress on this project, we'll bring you along, and hope everybody has a great day. All right, guys. It's about 3:30 p.m. Friday afternoon, and we're going to call this a success. We've done some blasting, but we're not going to blast anymore without a face shield, so it's pretty rough. we're gonna call it a video. We'll get this one uploaded. And we're gonna go get a face shield. We're gonna do a lot of blasting this afternoon. And when we get it all like we like it, we'll pull the car back inside. And again, there's what we got. We just got a gravity fed homemade blasting tank. Not too bad. And it's knocking that off like nobody's business, but you can't stand it. You just can't stand it without a face shield. So, we'll leave it at that. I want to thank everybody for watching the videos. Comment, subscribe, like. Got a lot of cleaning up to do. You can see where she's been sitting there for the last year and a half. And she's on the outside now, so we'll get some sandblasting done and get it back in. Well, thank everybody again.